Hello, how are you all doing? Let's get started. I can't hear myself. Wait, let me fix that. Is that working? There we go. Okay, we are back. A sprite's open. We don't need that necessarily. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are we all doing today? Okay, so it's been a while since I was live, but the last thing that we were doing was working on the death effect of our enemy. So we added a new sprite here for our drone. We're sort of just going around touching up our enemy sprites to make them not be just red blobs. And this is the flying enemy. Now, I think he looks pretty good, but when he dies, he needs to like do something. And what I've got going on is basically the body will break apart into the individual pieces and fall over. Now, we sort of had it so that the player could interact with those pieces and they would sort of all just fly over the place. But I did find that they were a little bit too big. So I decided to make it so you can't interact with them and that they disappear after a while. You know, all that standard stuff. So now it doesn't look like that anymore. I don't know. Are we embedding? Embed on play. Yep, which is what I want. So if I hit facility 6, there was one thing I was thinking about changing in the process of this. Am I going to take damage or is he bad? So we got our blob, still the red square. We haven't got a sprite for that one yet. But yeah, we got these guys and they're pretty dumb. They're pretty easy. I got to fix the flash, but yeah, so they break, and you can no longer hit them. And after a random amount of time, they will just sort of fade out, which I think is fine. Maybe we break it into smaller pieces so that chunk isn't so big. I don't know. You've got the main board there. I actually kind of like this. You just got that main board of the drone just sitting there and it'll just fade out. So that way the screen doesn't get too cluttered and, you know, I think it just works a little bit better. So if you have like a big scene here where you have to fight a lot of enemies, it's not so overwhelming. These red guys don't do anything right now. You know, they just sort of like bounce. But yeah, I think I'm gonna fix up the ow, god damn. So yeah, I think that's a little bit better. It's a little less like funny, but you know, it just makes more sense in terms of a gameplay perspective because like it got to a point where you couldn't even you couldn't move, and some of the enemies couldn't even interact with you. Like the missile shooting drone doesn't like. Can't shoot its missile because it interacts with things that interact with the world. So it would, you know, interpret those as obstacles essentially and like explode. So the defeated drone, I just want to make a change here. So there's actually two parts to the body. When you defeat the drone, you get this, right? But it's actually another rigid body that can also be broken into a smaller pieces, and those also like fly out. So when it hits the ground, it actually breaks again. But I was thinking it'd be cool if you could shoot it, but I don't think it would be cool if it stays together until you shoot it, because that is not as, we don't want it to actually take up something. Like if it's in the way of what you're trying to shoot at, that's bad. But if we just make it so that, so right now, whenever the rigid body hits something, on body entered, it's done, right? So I think that's fine. That means as soon as it hits the ground, it's going to transform into the other one. But like, what if you do shoot an extra bullet at it and it does? I don't need an extra collision shape. I can just copy that one. Right, so if we go signal, damage taken to main. So I was experimenting with this before. So originally it wasn't so when it hit the ground, it was like when you shoot it again. And I don't actually think that was good. So I changed it to when it hit the ground, but then I was like, what if it's both? So that should, I don't know if that automatically hooks up. Growling Octopus, welcome to the stream. How are you? On body entered, on hurt box damage taken. Right, okay, so we are doing that. And then we go, call the third direction. So, yes, I think that works. Okay, so we test it. I wonder if it's even possible. I guess you just have to shoot a lot of bullets. Really easiest place to test is up here. I don't know, it doesn't work. I didn't set up the collision shape. I didn't set up the collision layer. Broken body. Destructible death effect. I close it. Huh? What? Wait, hold on. What the heck? Dead drone. We've got dead crawler, broken body drone. Is it this one? No, it's not. It is defeated drone. It's this one here. Why did that disappear all of a sudden? Even Stevens, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Okay. Okay. What was I going to do? I was going to set up the collision layers. It wasn't on the right layer, which is enemy hurt box. Right. Okay. So we'll run that again. Oh, this is the wrong scene. Classic. Oop. See you later. Hey, it gets blasted. Wait. It stays together though. I don't know if I like that. I would expect it to get like blast. Oh, we've got some errors. Maybe it's related. I think that's pretty fun. But yeah, what is that error? Error calling signal entered to callable area hurt box cannot convert one object to object. Okay, what did I do? Area entered. I'm assuming it's related to this, but it doesn't actually say. Oh, hurt box area GD. On area entered. Cannot convert one signal from object to object. So whatever's coming into here is not a hitbox. Because I'm saying hitbox. Hello, Lambda OS. Welcome. So whatever I am sending to this is not a hitbox. Curious. I wonder if some of the other areas are somehow like interacting with it. These are all like rigid bodies, so they can't really. We've got body entered, and this is damage taken. Right, on area entered, cannot. I wonder what it is. This is going to get a lot of printouts. That's the problem. Will it even come in? Like if on area hitbox, like if I just change this to whatever it would be, like an area 2D technically, rather than a hitbox. We won't get that error anymore, but obviously this code relies on it being a hitbox, which is why I've got if area is hitbox. And you can type that out. Like, you can just say it only accepts areas, which is what will give you this error. Oh, I suppose I want to see the errors come through. I've got to actually like pull off a hit. They keep going to the side. Okay. I'm not going to be able to do it. They keep flying off. That goes. I don't know. It doesn't happen anymore. Let's not think too much about it. I have to replace this enemy here. We're calling it the Sentinel. The Sentinel. Where is it? What's it called? I think it's just called Tank Enemy, right? Tank Enemy. This is the next one we're doing. I've made a sprite for it. It's a little bit more basic. So, what we have here is something that just shoots a missile. It's a homing device. It'll follow you around. It doesn't have to be a missile. That's just the mechanic, right? And so we've got, I don't know, do we have enemy asset? Sentinel. This is just the PNG though. Enemies. Sentinel. Oh, that's still just the PNG. I'm like so dumb. Okay, so this is it. It's like, I don't know. I had to think of something. I'm not really sure what this could possibly be. I'm still just trying to go for like the angular shapes. And then I've got it so that the front thing opens up and shoots a laser. And we also have another enemy on the way that I'm going to implement at some point. But yeah, this one, we'll do this. And I've got the PNG already. So, now originally this was meant to have like a nozzle. What do you call it? A barrel. And like we would rotate it towards where it was going to shoot. But I'm sort of just like not going to do that. Because like, whatever. You know, too hard. So we'll delete. And then just replace this with, what's it called? Sentinel. How tall are we? It is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I guess it's also 4 long. Okay. Bring it up on the y-axis. Wait, where's this collision shape sitting? Oh, okay. No, we're chill there. Its collision shape is actually really big. It doesn't really matter. Like, the player doesn't ever hit them. It's more probably, I guess, for physics objects that matters. I guess. Like, I don't know. We can make it smaller. Not a big deal, I don't think. Jen OCS. Welcome in. How are you? OSCS. Genosks. Okay, so we've got the body here, right? And now we just need some animations and probably some instructions about when to play certain animations. And also, like, we have to look at the flashing because all the enemies are turning black when you shoot them, which is like kind of weird. John, just Hungary. Okay, welcome, John. Okay. So, we need an animation player. animation. So got new, just call it idle. And I guess it's going to be 2 frames. How many frames per second? We're having this conversation before. It's like, okay, I guess 25 frames per second is normal. I don't know. But also like that's still really quick. Like it would just be like shaking. You know what I mean? If I just, it's like 2 frames. You know, the idle animation doesn't do much. It doesn't have much to do. It's a big square. So frame 1. And then literally it just like bounces. It just, what do we do? 0.4? Frame 1. That's like literally it. That's the whole thing. That's all it does. Let's turn off this collision shape. It just does that. I don't know. We'll think of different ways that we can animate this shape. New. Attack. Okay, so this one's really easy. I think it still should, yeah, it starts on that. Oh no, this is the move animation. Don't create a reset track, create. Yeah, that's the one I want. How quick should this be? This should be, if you have time, can you show me what you're doing? Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so we are working on a Metroidvania. I don't really know the scope of like how big it's going to be. I just really wanted to create a Metroidvania. And so I've been working on it like about 6 months. And right now we're at the point where we're sort of at the point where we could release a demo for people to play and give us feedback about how it feels. Because what I'm really concerned about is like just capturing the feeling of a Metroidvania. So we're sort of at this point now where things are pretty much put together. There's a lot you can do in the game. There's a lot you can collect. But we're just sort of replacing all the prototypes with actual enemy sprites. So you've got like those two. This guy's still just a red blob. And you know, you've got your basic, these are just like your sort of easy first zone enemies. They go black for some reason when you shoot them. I need to figure that out before the end of the stream. And when you shoot them, they sort of break into pieces or like do that. And so, yeah, there's a lot going around. Look at all these hitboxes. These are like a gauntlet kind of thing. Just, you got to fight like a bunch of enemies before you can progress, but all the enemies are broken. So it's really easy. Like the red guy doesn't do anything. I think he has his notifier turned off, so he doesn't know when to start moving. They do just charge at you. They're pretty basic. So, you know, it's your classic Metroidvania. You just fight enemies. Let's just get through this. Oh, hey, look, he's got the new sprite. Yes, he just does this, and it's super annoying. But yeah, the entire premise, you try it out. Hell yeah, dude. We got that broken walls, so we can break through this wall and climb up here, although that seemed a bit broken, so we'll have to have a look at that. We just fight our way through. And we've got a couple of bosses. I just got to make my way over to one. Oh, it broke. What the hell? Did it break, or did it just... I don't think that was a... I don't think that crap. Not sure what happened there. We do have problems with the door transitions because I'm trying to use sub threads, which I don't actually think we should be doing. I don't know. It does seem to cause more errors than it's worth trying to use. I reckon that was related because like I used to have like a lot of crashes. I did a lot to fix that, but like I reckon turn that off. But yeah, we do have a couple of bosses like this drone, this big drone. So basically there's not much of a story like out right now, you know, but there is, what do we call this room? Security? Facility. Yeah, there's this boss room where you can fight this big guy. And yeah, you're gonna have to fight through because the security has gone haywire in this base. Everything is trying to kill any biological sign of life. So this is the first boss. He's just basically a combination of all the different things that you've seen enemies do. That's literally it. Like, he does all the 3 attacks. Like, he charges you, he'll shoot lasers at you, and he'll shoot like homing missiles at you. And all you have to do is just move a little bit. It's not difficult. It's the first boss in the game, so it's not really meant to be hard. We do have a couple of harder bosses, although I was thinking I have to design a few more. He like sets up a protection layer. These guys really need to spawn on different positions. And so you defeat those guys and you can keep fighting him. You get money from those. I guess that's like normal. And then after that, you'll get a power up. And then he dies, woo. And you get a little bit of health. So yeah, we're pretty much there. We just gotta like make it look good. Make it look good, make the story like a compelling. That's pretty much it. Making it look good, I think, is gonna be the hardest part. Like, this is the tank. I don't know. I don't know about this. I think it looks alright, but it's very hard to make something out of like 30 pixels. More challenging than I realized, to be honest. Because I thought choosing a low pixel density would make things a little bit more simple. So what is this at? I gotta change the frame step. 0.16. $10 frames per second, I reckon. Go to the next one. He sort of charges up his laser. And then shoots. So I don't know. I guess we don't have anything in the attack. We just shoot the laser, right? Like, I shoot the missile. It's a missile. Yeah, enter, check for target, launch projectile. We stop for like 0.1 seconds. So that's fine, right? Because, right, we're going to play the animation. In fact, we could make this 0.1 second. Oh, actually, it's 0.4 second. What do you think? How long it'll be there to the... How long do you think it will be until the end of the game or the stream? The game, I think, yeah, I would like it to last longer than a few hours, but like, it really just depends on what I'm capable of outputting. You know what I mean? Gameplay to beat it? Well, right now, I think it would probably be under 20 minutes. But I would like it to be a lot longer. I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking 12 bosses. I don't know where I've got that number from, but I want to create at least 12. And I don't know how you fit that in. I want the world to be relatively small because I know that's difficult to create. But a big part of a Metroidvania is the exploration aspect. So you kind of have to like balance it out. Like, is it just like a boss rush kind of game? Like, it's still Metroidvania-like because you have to like collect upgrades and stuff, but it's not like super heavy on exploration? Or is it like heavier on exploration and less on the combat? It's kind of like a balance thing. I think it's going to be easier for me to create like more interesting combat scenarios than it is to create the world. So right now, that's what I think. Make 12 bosses, fit them into the world somehow, and then just roll with it. Do you want to shop an inventory system? Brother, we've got a shop an inventory system. We got it here at the start of the game. Here, let's just go new. There is no like intro, you just start at the entrance. And if I, well, I've got inventory already. Right now, just as like I'm testing, we've got like the soda, which makes you run a little bit quicker and they'll re-liquefy. But if I give myself some money, this is my dev menu. And I come over to the, what do we call this thing? Replicator? It's a 3D printer. Also, I have to like Side note, think about the things that I'm designing. I drew this very early on, and it's meant to be sort of like reminiscent of like the beige. The feed introduced me to Tokyo Spliff, Game Dev Muso down in Tassie. Hell yeah. Shout out to my fellow Tasmanians. That is writing an engine in C++, OpenGL, and has been streaming for 8 solid hours. That's too many hours. Welcome to the stream, Bone Circuit. Yeah, so we got the, you know, battery pack, and there's things that you can buy, but you can buy them. I don't even know if that does anything. We got a map. It's a red dot. We got abilities. We got mod chips. Look at this. You have to collect these, but I haven't implemented the collection part of it yet. You can just equip them whenever. We got NPCs that you can talk to. The background gets all messed up when you do that though. The security drones have gone high. Hey, if you could destroy 5 crawlers, I'll give you a gift. Oh yeah, we even have like missions. Like you can track that, right? Destroy crawler drones. Oh, dude, the background got so cooked just now. I'm not going to do the 3D background, I think. I've been thinking about the 3D background. I don't know if I'm going to continue with that because of that particular reason. That shouldn't happen, but it did. Like, that's weird. What's on the cards today? We are replacing the tank enemy with this bad boy. We also have another enemy that we're working on, which is going to be like more like the drone, but more like this guy, but like on the ground. A little bit inspired by like a Dalek. I don't know if I've got that here. It needs a bit of work, but yeah, that's one that we're going to implement here. A trash can. He's going to shoot 2 lasers. Just needs a bit of texture. But yeah, this guy, he is going to shoot the missile, and he opens up his little hatch and he shoots it. So we've got that animation now. Okay, so we were looking at the attack. Let's just implement the last animation here. We'll just call it move. Super easy. It just shakes. It literally just shakes. It doesn't do much at all. Because it doesn't have wheels. It's something else I was thinking about. Like, I have like all this stuff that I want to look like futuristic, but like, I guess it floats. I'm going to need to make it look like it floats. I guess. Like, I don't actually know. Just got an ad for MS Copilot. How dare they advertise that shit on my stream? Where is the sprite? Oh, that is the moving animation. We're doing 10 frames per second on a programming stream. How dare they? So I guess that's just the entire thing. At loops for sure. It's a bit much. There's only so much you can do with a thing that looks like this, you know? I prefer my illogically written, inefficient, memory-heavy code made by man. Yeah, I'll take organic code. Organic code, I mean, I guess like if it's coming from somewhere else, I don't really care. Like, it's funny. Like, I care that I wrote my code, but like if I'm pulling something else, do I care if it's like written by? I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, we got the missile point. We got the okay. So let's implement these into the code. Now, I don't even think this state machine has access to an animation player. I don't know. Oh, there we go. We can actually just assign the animation player because I've already accounted for that. In the other thingo. So in the idle, we can say animation player. I cooked it. Okay, so we can say animation player dot play. Actually, do we have to call get animation player? There's this weird thing. I guess not. I don't wasn't there a thing? Okay, we'll find out in a second. Animation player, move. Wait, I'm in the idle, so we don't want to play that animation. We'll just play idle. Assuming that's what it's called. Yep. Okay, tank idle. Chase. I'm very perplexed. I feel like there's a function that I have to call before just calling this because of how like the entire thing moves or like works. Okay, so we got move. What do you do? What do you think? What is the hardest or most complicated part in GD and what you'll need in? I don't know, actually. I mean, there's a lot of complicated things. Like the code is fine. Like it's one of those things. There's like nothing in the code is complicated. It's the patterns themselves, right? Like last year, I spent weeks learning how to do A-star pathfinding, right? And that's got nothing to do with GD script. I just had to learn how to do that in general. Like I was watching A-star videos on YouTube, not like related to Godot. Most people don't use A-star in Godot. They just use the navigation system, which is like built in and it's essentially free. You don't have to think about it. But like I wanted a very specific kind of movement. So, you know, I had to spend a long time learning how that worked. And then, so like in order for me to achieve like what I wanted to do to make it easy to explain was I wanted to create 2D path. I wanted to create like the tactics, the Final Fantasy tactics pathfinding, which is they move in a very specific kind of way, like on a grid with squares. The easiest way is just to show you the video I made. Latest just kept popular because that was like one of the biggest. Oh, it's just like, go back. So typical, oh my God. Typical pathfinding basically looks like this, where it'll just take the shortest path. So if you say you wanted to go up here on a grid, it'll just say like, yeah, walk along and then just like go up. And like the way that it moves is not rigid. When you're looking at a grid, because you're like having like a tactics style combat, it's not like, it's not viable. You can't use this system, I don't think, unless that maybe there's a way to like implement custom pathfinding into the navigation system, but there's still problems with the that system anyway, because it's not grid aware. So it's not aware of the grid that you're using. In a tactics game, you would have each of these squares selectable, right? So I needed a system that was aware of the grid and then use that for its pathfinding, right? So it didn't move like that. This is not what you want. It's just not, it's not it, basically. You could do it, but what you want is this kind of, actually what you want is this green line. This is what I was going for. So like if you said I wanted to go to B, I want you to go right and then up, right? This is what you can do really easily, but I wanted this. And I don't know why I put this, like I have a running gag, I guess, where I write code by hand. I don't know, I've done this twice in a video now. But this is what we were going for, right? So you get these lines. You have to visualize it differently because it doesn't come for free. But yeah, this is what we ended up with, which is, and that was really hard. Like I had to spend a long time working out how I can achieve this in Godot because it just doesn't exist. And that's when things get difficult. but like things that are built in are like much more straightforward. Like if you're just using the system, like Godot is super easy. Dude, my camera used to be so blurry. That's crazy. Upgrades. We've had upgrades. Okay. Where were we? Animation.player.play move. This is going to crash. I know it. Code by hand means you nailed it upstairs. I did a game course where the computers were down and the paper code for a day. Well, I mean, Bone Circuit, it's a gimmick for a video. I copied it off the computer. I think the line in the video is that the code is so simple for navigation that you could fit it on a piece of paper. Hang on a second. Hold. He still have it? I still have it? What do I still have? In the old days, you had to write your code on paper cards. Yeah, the punch cards. And then have it sort of submitted for computation. That's so sick though. I used to scratch down code in paper a million years ago, but in those days it was assembly. Nice. So we got move. I remember being a child and like hearing people talk about that, like, oh, there used to be punch cards, and like just kind of imagining, because my mom worked in a library. So I would go, and it was like in the school, I would go to the school in the library and just sort of imagine, because, you know, it was still the 90s, right? So we still had those like beige computers in the library, like just one or two. And like, when they said, oh, you used to have punch cards and they were really big, I was like, oh, they were still in the library, which is, they definitely weren't. And like, there was just like this massive thing. I don't know what I would imagine. I was a fan of the microfiche. The paper from the video, I thought you reached for that. Oh, no. I have no idea what that is. No, I was just charging my phone. Okay, finish them at idle. Wait, okay, so this is attack. Stop for 0.1 second. We don't need that anymore. What we want to do is we just want to play an animation. So we'll say like funk. Actually, yeah, what we want to do is actually, we've already got launch projectile, so how much is the wait time? 1 second. I think that should be longer, low-key. But basically, we put this all in a function here. Check for target, launch projectile. Yeah, okay. Attack. We'll just call it attack. We just need it to be in a separate function. And then here in the enter, we can just say animation player.play attack. Hit save on that. And then in this animation, we'll go call method track, and we'll call method on the attack state here. And then at the very end here, we can say insert key attack, avoid attack, right? And then finish emit idle. Yeah, we can do that. That works. And then it'll launch the projectile at the end of this like sequence here. And that should work. And I expect this will crash because from memory, I don't think there's a way for us to easily access. Like, even though the animation player is set in the data, you still have to get it. And I think you do need to do that, but we'll see. Maybe we're lucky. I'm going to close some of these things. Okay, thanks for letting us know. So Drone will leave open. I have to go. Good luck. Thank you, man. Enjoy your day, your evening, whatever it is. Facility 3. Facility 2, actually, I think we want. Yes, this room here, because in the next room, in the room behind it, there is one of these enemies. I just try to keep in memory where they are. See, look, animation player to idle, and then it doesn't exist, right? Cannot play method on a null value because the animation player is null. I have to go to sleep. It's midnight in Hungary. Nice, dude. Enjoy your sleep. Sleep well, my friend. Okay, so we kept the enemy. We don't have the tank. Okay, so we need a method to get the enemy, to get the animation player. Now, I actually thought class name enemy state machine. I actually thought that there was a function for that, but maybe I am forgetting. Maybe that's in air motion. Air enemy motion. There's a different script for enemies in the air. It's just called enemy motion. Great. And they have set animation player. So I would have thought that ground enemy motion inherits from enemy motion, and it does. So set animation player is the function I want to call, which I tried looking for at the time, but I didn't see it. So I don't know. Without that, then the thing doesn't work. It needs to be in every single script. It's one of those things. You kind of... There's other ways to do it, but that's how we're doing it for the enemies, I guess. Tank. Look at the way I've spelt that. I did it again. Tank attack. What about tank move? I guess it's just not called that. Tank chase. It's only going to be called tank chase in this list if the if there's like another script called chase somewhere else in the script. Anyway, point is, don't run that there. Wrong spot. Okay. Go back to facility 2 and run that again and just go into the next room and see what happens. Okay, it's there. It does its thing. Ouch. I mean, it works exactly how I want it to. I don't think it chases. I wonder why. If you get too close to it, it'll do that. So why doesn't it chase? I mean, it's kind of like not a bad thing for it to be a stationary enemy, but it does make it way less threatening, especially when you can stand under something that it can't attack you from. Oh, so this blob's stuck on the corner again. Okay. We must ask the question why. The visible on-screen notifier is not turned on, which would make it actually be able to move. You know what I'm gonna do? What is this? AI enemy? Class enemy? Nah, I won't do that then. Let's see if it chases us. Oh, it does. God damn it. Okay, so now we just have to fix the... Oh, God. the drawing issue. I think this is a shader issue. Okay, so happy days. This thing chases us. We're safe underneath this because it always goes up first. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Oh, and we have to give it like the death animation so that it actually has like a sprite when it dies, like these ones do. Okay. Okay. So, what are we thinking? All right, let's have a look at the weirdness with the shader. And I think this is to do with like flash value, honestly. So the way this works is when they take damage, it's meant to like flash them white. But I think for whatever reason, it's getting set to like a negative value or something like that. It doesn't happen with the player, so I can't really speak to that as to why. This is enemy sprite. It's a different script. They have separate scripts because... Why do they have separate scripts? I actually don't know. Like, why couldn't they be one? I don't remember. It's too long ago. This was one of the first things we did. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. Those ones aren't as much of a problem because they just take one hit. I guess it does go negative. Do you think that's related? I assume the same thing can happen to the player. Let's just clamp it and see. So flash value equals flash value. So what are we doing here? We minus the decay rate and then we say that we flash the flash value and we have a max flash. We go flash value parameter. We could say minimum 0 here, or we could also say we could say max delta times decay rate and then comma 0 so that it can't go below -1, and then we can print just so we're getting the right. I reckon that's why. Ooh. I do think that's why, but we'll see. Let's have a look. I can't even shoot those guys. Come over here. No, okay, so it's still... Wait, what the heck? That guy did not spawn a... Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much. Okay, so the other thing is, do they have separate scripts? They wouldn't have, right? Like, that would be weird. Because I'm working on the tank enemy. I'm assuming the air enemy has the same script. And it does, yeah, right. So, wait, oh, okay, so, right. Here's the thing. I sort of interpreted that wrong. We're minusing the decay rate here. So, flash value here, we can say, the way that you do minus equals is handy, but it does either make you have to do an extra step here, or you do this differently. So you could go like it equals flash value minus, and then we'll just put that in brackets so we know that it's together. So we could say that equals that, and then flash value. We can say the max of that versus 0. Or you could put it on a separate line, but I'll just keep it all on one line and do it that way. This is the wrong scene. Let's go back here and go from there. So we'll run that. Let's have a look. Did I fix my woes? It doesn't go past 0 anymore. And yeah, that's fixed it. So yeah, it was 100% that was the issue. I don't know why these guys get stuck on the roof now. Also, why didn't he spawn an enemy? Have I just been working on like standalone enemies? What's going on? Yeah, that guy didn't spawn an enemy. Didn't spawn a body part. What the hell? What about the one up here? He didn't either. Instead of doing a large 3D terrain, a bunch of flat decal meshes doing the old parallax will suffice. Okay, let me think for a second. A large 3D, a bunch of flat decal meshes doing the old... Oh, right. You're responding to the idea of like ditching the 3D, I think. Yeah, I think I will just do that. Okay, he does. Okay, so this is related to something in that room specifically. Yes, I will just do like I might still have like, in terms of like the 3D, because I think it is a cool little visual effect, but maybe the game is looking really good. Thank you. We're adding some extra flair to it with these enemies. But what we do is, say if we go to facility 1 is the only place that has this at the moment. Say instead of it being the entire scene, right? Where's the 3D? Instead of it being the entire level, maybe we just have the snow. So like the snow is out the back and there's like a 3D effect on that. And then we can have the window over here. There's a window. You can't even see it actually because it's not in the 2D, but in the 2D world, we can just have like an alpha square, like there's nothing there, and it'll show like the 3D out the back. Like maybe something like that. So it still shows up in some places, but not overused like this, where it's like actually the camera gets really fucked up. Or we don't do it at all. One of the two. But like I'm sort of thinking like it's not really going to work. You really have to build it up as a 3D project if you want to include 3D. If you wanted to include the 3D that I want to include. Anyway, tank enemy. We need to give it a death effect. So we need to create one. It's a little bit more involved than it used to be, but it's fine, I guess. We create a node. Defeated tank. Defeated... I think I'm calling them sentinels now. You spell that with an A or an E? I don't know. And then it's a bunch of rigid bodies. And this one's only 2 pieces, so it should be a lot simpler. We need to bring in the sprite. Oh, there's a specific rigid body that I have for this, actually. Delete. I created one. What did I call it? I think it's called debris. Enemy debris. Right? So we created an enemy debris, and now it has like a random time and a max time. So you can set it to be like, I want it to hang around for 15 seconds before it fades out. And you can also assign an animation player. I don't know what that's for. I think I had an idea, but then I never actually followed through on it. Let's do a sprite and a collision shape. Or am I supposed to drag that in from here? Enemy debris. Debris? It does have an animation player. I don't think it is. Oh, it's got the reset. Yeah, so I do need that. So just delete. Oh, not delete. Just drag this one in. And then move those there. Okay, let's grab this. We've pre-drawn some bits for it to fall to pieces when you defeat it. So it's 4 on this and 4 on this, and it's basically the last frame, right? You make that the head, the underpiece. Then we give it a, not a collision shape. We needed the, I suppose it's not super important for this one actually. We can make it a square, it's fine. It's not really gonna do much. Put a circle. Once again, the player isn't hitting these anymore, so it's not a super big deal. Something like that. Not that high actually, about there. And then we just drag this down. Okay, so now we need to duplicate this, change the animation, make it unique, and make it that one. Change the collision shape to be a collision polygon, which is right above. And here we'll set the, just turn that off. So here is the thing. You want this to be centered. You don't want this to have any transforms on it. That just leads to bad time. Just draw a shape for this guy. Probably could just be a square, honestly, but we'll try to make it a little bit fancier. And then move this guy up so that they're sort of like connecting, but they're going to get launched the second that they get spawned, I guess. Max time, what do we put on this? Like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it's fine. If you hang around for that long, it'll just slowly fade out. Okay, so what we need to do is add a script to this, add a death effect script. Dead crawler. Which one of these does? Dead drone has some stuff. Broken drone body. Oh my god, I can't talk. Launch parts. Broken body effect. Extends that. Class name broken body effect, I think. Is the one we want to do. So let's save this in scenes, enemies, dead enemies, and we'll just make another one called a dead sentinel. Spelled it wrong. That's fine. Create a script. It's going to inherit broken body death effect. And then we just need the parts. And then I think that's it. We'll make the speed like kind of high so that they get launched a little bit. And then I think we need to override the play effect stuff. We have to override that, but I gotta go to the toilet, so I'm gonna do that. This one. I'm back. So, right, so we got the broken body effect. Now, I do think we need to do something here. What's the output saying? I don't know. We got play effect. I think we have to... Does it just... Yeah, it's not getting called. I forget how this works. Air enemy? I only did it yesterday. Launch pass gets overridden here. Defeated drone. No, I think you just, like, it just gets... Play effect gets called when the enemy gets defeated, so... That's just that. If as long as that's attached, I think we're all good. Launch parts, I think, is the issue here, because this particular drone isn't gonna. Oh, it'll have direction actually. It will have direction, so that's probably fine. I guess let's see how it behaves. We have to actually attach it to the tank enemy. Death effect is apparently that, but I doubt it. No, it's not. I don't know why. Like, that's something I've noticed with Godot, is that sometimes the pack scene will not be the pack scene that you attach. Like, it's giving you a different thumbnail. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so facility 2. Let's run it. Moment of truth. Hey, not bad. The other thing behaved a bit strangely. Where can I find another one of these? I think that's the only one. The head hangs around for ages. The other thing disappeared instantly because I didn't set a timer on it. So a part of this, like, you need to actually specify. I should probably set up a default timer, because right now it's like, if it's not set and it's set to 0, like max time should probably be like 10 seconds, right? On these debris. What the hell? Max time, let's just make it 10 seconds as a default. And random, I actually think that should default to true as well. All we're doing is just going randef multiplied by max time here, because randef gives you a number between 0 and 1. So, you know, it's going to be any time between 0 and 10. So it could disappear instantly, but it most likely won't. And the other thing I noticed was a bit strange about that was where it got spawned. It popped up, and I don't know if that's intentional. Well, it's not from me, but like, I don't know if that's... So it gets just spawned. I guess the question is, like, where is the 0 point on this? It's right there. So, like, if you brought in a defeated sentinel on this, where's it going to show up? Which is pretty much the exact same spot. So I don't know why it would do that. Either way, let's try it again. Honestly, pretty good. Hello, A Sniper. Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome, actually. Ugh. Rotation on this is not bad either. Honestly, could be worse. Now, I do need to fix the crawlers as well, because right now they've got an error. Well, not an error. This is the first one I did, and it's not exactly how I would want to do it. So if I kill one of these guys, you can just keep shooting at it until it like spawns its dead body, which is like kind of weird. Not how it should work. Also, I think money keeps coming out of them, actually. Wait, hold up. Oh, I broke it. What's the error there? Can it instantiate on a null value, seen as null? Interesting. Very interesting, actually. Maybe a longer bullet interval. What we're going to do is just change it so that the defeated sprite spawns early. Like right now the process is, so I can tell you what's different between these ones, is that there's actually an animation that's going to play, right? So these enemies, like this one that flies here, it just instantly spawns its defeated version of itself, right? So when you kill it, well, okay, that's a bad example because I don't know what's wrong with that one. But in this room here, I guess we have to kill this guy. Yeah, you see how he spawns that and then it fades out of existence? Same with this guy here. He'll like spawn that shattered piece of himself. Probably needs to be broken in small pieces. But these guys don't actually do that. They play the animation first and then spawn the ending point of that as a death effect. And so as long as you can keep shooting it, it's going to keep thinking that it's going to die. So now we're just like farming this thing for money. It just becomes like a cash machine. That's pretty funny. So it's relatively explainable because I remember how this one was set up. I was like, oh, once it's defeated, I want it to like play the animation and then like spawn in its dead counterpart. Now, this is fine, I guess, but also like kind of a problem because obviously if it's still here, then it can still be shot. Now, what did I do when it's defeated? Change state, health container 0, hitbox set active false. So it's not supposed to be able to do that. But what else is actually crawl state is dead. Change state. We have states here. So we can say, let's just make it easy. Like if current crawl state is equal to crawl state dead. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel here. Then return. What I was going to do originally was like change the way that it spawns its thingo, like the spawn its like dead body. Basically it spawns a replacement, right? As a rigid body, but like whatever, we'll just do that. And that should actually fix the problem. Facility entry 2. I mean, you can still shoot it and it still hits and it still flashes, but it doesn't shake the screen and give you money. That guy just disappears. I gotta fix that. So how do we fix the flashing? I don't think you can because the flashing happens at a different point in the script. The flashing is from when you're taking damage. So like, in order to do that, you would just need to spawn in the crawl effect straight away. Spawn in the other thing, the death effect. Make it allow money or something to set as false on death. No, that's fine. The money is fixed now. It won't give you money anymore now. And it also, like, so that's all done and sorted. Now it's just flashing. And I don't actually think that's really affects that. I don't think that's fixable without changing like the entire structure of the way that like damage works. And I don't want to do that because it's like every single thing uses the same script. So see how it just flashes? We don't get extra money now. Get out of here. Let's have a look. Fine enough. Now, I think the flash comes from the health container. Damage taken just gets emitted to the spray, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's not really like aware, if that makes sense. Like you would have to tell the sprite. I don't really want to do that. So the only other thing we do is we basically, oh, it doesn't even have a death effect. Oh, wait, it does. That is interesting. This one's done completely differently. This was the first one I did like I started last week. Or I think it was last Saturday. It was a week ago I did this. And it's like, yeah, I guess it works. We preload that as a, but like also what you could do is you could create a death effect. This would be enemy debris. No, we go new node. I gotta remember the pattern here, and then we just call it defeated crawler, dead crawler, crawler broken. Hold up. I just saw something pop up on my tablet. Big news. Big news. This is breaking from Qball and GWiz. Wait. Wait. Clicking buttons. Massive dumps.
With fellow YouTuber GWiz, and if you guys don't know GWiz, you probably do know GWiz because he has a tutorial on literally like every Godot topic. We're hosting a game jam together, and it's going to run from July 19th to July 26th.
There we have it. July 19th to July 26th.
Really quick, there is $200 worth of prize.
What? Money! And a 1-year membership with Zenvar. Oh, shout out Zenvar. I've worked with them before. They're really cool.
Prizes. So first place is going to get $100, second place gets 70, and then third place gets 30. But yeah, everything you need to know about the jam is listed on the page. We have a Google forum up right now. If you guys want to suggest a theme, we're basically going to choose the theme randomly when the game jam goes live. And then we've also set up a Discord server specifically for the jam, so be sure to join that. I'll also link that in the description. But we're going to be hosting it from, like I said, July 19th to July 26th. And as some of you guys might know, that's exactly when GodotCon is happening. So if you guys aren't going to GodotCon, this is a great way to like stay connected with the Godot community over that time. And if you are going to GodotCon and want to make that week just a little bit more stressful, then be sure to join the game jam. Me and GWiz are both going to be at GodotCon. I'm for sure going to participate in the jam. I actually don't know if GWiz is going to, but I think it'll be really fun and stressful, but mainly fun to do the game jam in any like free time I have over the event. Now, obviously I have to make this disclaimer like I did for my last jam, but if I get any of these 1st through 5th place in the jam, I'm not going to be taking the prizes. I'm just going to disqualify myself, which I'm not sure that will happen, but just to throw that out there. Now, I also want to shout out the sponsors that we have for the game jam. So huge shout out to IMS Creators, Zenva, and also Craft Picks. There's going to be more details on them on the jam page and also the rewards section. But be sure to check out these links when you go over to the jam page. But yeah, with that, that's about it for this video. So I want to give a huge shout out to all the channel supporters on Patreon and also YouTube members. If you want to become a channel supporter, all the links are also in the description. But I do really appreciate all the support. It helps the channel out a ton. And with that, keep G-Wizzing.
Keep G-Wizzing, all right. All right, I'm on the wrong account. Hang on. I have to leave a comment, right? Gotta leave a comment. Godot. I don't know about Godot. That's news to me. I don't know. What is Godot anyway? Godot Boston? That's so far away from me. July 21 to 22. I don't even think I could get into the United States, to be honest. I am way too aggressive on X to be allowed into America. Wait for PAX. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mrs. is going to be there. Wait, where's PAX going? Is it in Melbourne or Sydney or something like that? It's always in a city that's really far away from me. October, it's in Melbourne. Rip. The translations are back. Oh yeah, Trump bans you from the US if you criticize him or his friends, and I do plenty of that. On my social media, just not on YouTube. We are no politic here. No politic here. What's in Melbourne? I zoned out. PAX, which is like a tech thing. I don't think it's just game related, right? Is it, or is it like biggest celebration of gaming and gaming culture, right? So it's gaming. I guess a lot of game devs go there though. I think I know some people that are going to go. What else did I want to talk about while I've got the music down, eh? Actually, we can bring the music back. You're pretty close? Nice. I could still go. I mean, it's not, I just have to get flights and hotel and stuff. It's all right. And hire a car probably, depending on where it is. Godot. 4.7 is like here. Wait, I've got the link. I wanted to look at the patch notes, because I haven't looked at them yet. Okay, Godot 4.7. I think it's going to be here before the end of the week, or at least at the start of next week. Like, Godot 4.7 will be here. It is here, and like it's looking really good. I feel like every time there's an update for Godot, it's always like so much better, and it's improving like exponentially at a point where it does become like, you know, like I don't think it's much longer until this thing takes over and it just becomes the default for most indie devs. So like they're doing a really good job, I think. Where we got last week, regression fixes. For those interested in aiding us in our quest, you can be testing. I think they're up to release candidate 2, so they're there. So let's have a look at the highlights, right? For those who've been following the development of snapshots closely, you may be familiar. Yeah, I don't follow the snapshots. I'm just not one of those guys. I sort of wait until it's like right around the corner before I start looking. And now they're in feature freeze. So that means like nothing will change. At this point, it's exactly the same. There are no new features to cover compared to Dev 5. 4.7 introduces default online virtual joystick, which might be a little rough at the start. Default online virtual joystick. Is that like, so you can use touch with web? So you could put like a mobile game on itch? That's pretty cool. Or like, it's just a joystick included in as like a node, which is also pretty good because people struggle with that a lot. Because we're already free to freeze. Okay, yeah, sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I see quite a lot. Like, I get that question a lot in the Discord, or at least like a couple of times in Discord. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I did it one time just to figure it out, and now I haven't thought about it since because I don't really make mobile games like that. Okay, Godot 4.7 is well expanded on some editions, but we didn't. Okay, breaking changes. Let's have a look. Animation display, audio fixed spectrum analysis. I don't know what that is. Fixed volume calculation with multiple viewports in 3D. Okay. core change. A bit filled instead of an enum. Improved evaluation of constant expressions. Add option to scale images in rich text label relative to font size. More thumbs play games than humans today. Mobile gaming is the biggest part. Is like one of the biggest things. It's just like not. I think like a lot of developers, it's one of those things. I don't know if there's many indie developers making mobile games, but there's a lot of like slop for sure, right? Playing your like your what is it called? Like the flippin' Bejeweled, Candy Crush. Improve evaluation on constant expressions, arrays, and dictionaries. Add option to scale images in rich text labels. Add device IDs. Jolt physics. Okay, this is probably an important one. Add ability for 3D, Area 3D to detect and influence soft body 3D. Okay. Area 3D will now report overlaps with soft body 3D, so it didn't do that before, which might require you to adjust your layers. Make soft body 3D default mass 1 kilo. And fix stiffness conversion. Okay, so you might have to look at your soft bodies. I don't have any in my game. Okay, we'll skip the rest. Animations. Okay, so this I think is actually really cool. You guys know me. I'm a massive fan of tweens. I use them for everything. I prefer them over pretty much any kind of animation. Obviously, you have to know when to use an animation player versus a tween. I was hoping HDAG was going to make the cut. I don't know what that is, but yeah. HDDAG. What is that? Oh, dynamic. Okay, so it's lighting. Global illumination. I mean, that'll be cool when it gets there. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of tweens. And we have now await tweener, which is pretty cool. So you can already see in the code what it's going to do, and you can also observe it down here. You've got create tween set process, and you go through this process of creating the redness and then also like making it fall. But then you're going to await body entered, which is this area 3D down here. And once it gets there, it'll call back Q3. I think this is really cool. You're going to be able to do a lot with this because there's a lot of times where you want the tween to wait or something to happen before it gets triggered. So that's going to be really powerful. I think even like I'm doing like with my elevators to have multiple stops. I basically, once it reaches the stop, it gets like it goes into a feedback loop, right? Maybe I won't need to do that. I can just use await body entered and we can go to the next stop. And now we've got collapsible animations, which is so nice. That's going to make the animation player much easier to work with, especially with complicated animations in 3D. Animation resource library mixer and player. Optimize core and build system. A collective effort has been taken towards reducing the compilation times across the code base. Hell yeah. The speed at which the builds complete has dramatically improved. I don't think this affects users of the end system. I don't know. For not only contributing to this cause, but helping improving the tooling and detection methods. It's hard to showcase on a blog post. Yeah. I guess it's faster for anyone who compiles the engine. Yeah. So that's not going to affect most people, but that's still really great. The editor gave the 3D editor some love in the form of Path 3D collider snapping. I saw this and I thought this is actually so good because some of the stuff when you're doing like mouse and you're trying to like click into the 3D viewport with this like pathing and stuff like that, it's so annoying. So this is really good. So now you can turn on to snap to collider instead of having to like manipulate your 3D viewport to like see if you're actually touching something. So that's really good. I compile Godot debug builds regularly. Well, there you go. It's going to be faster now. That's awesome. 3D editor streak with vertex snapping support allows you to snap selection to nearby nodes, vertices. Oh, really? Okay. That's actually so sick. Which is useful for level design, yeah, and ensuring everything is visually connected to neighboring nodes, yeah. Yeah, this is like one of those things that like you have in Blender. Look at this. Look at this. This is good. So, that just nice. That is gonna make. I hated building these like area. What do they call them? Like CSG combiners. They're like kind of annoying to get them to stick together, but now, actually, is gonna be so easy. I can just watch that. That just makes me so happy. Okay, brought highly requested feature to the editor to life, the ability to copy and paste data from entire sections and categories. Vertex snapping is so welcome, hell yeah, yeah. Okay, so brought a highly requested feature to the editor to life, ability to copy and paste data from entire sections and categories. Now, instead of copying the data from individual segments of a given property and pasting them piece by piece, oh, that's nice. This process now handles in a singular action. I don't know how this is supposed to work. I understand what they're saying. Oh, okay. What? Yeah, that is. Oh, yeah. See, this is what I mean. Like every time Godot updates, it's like making leaps and bounds in terms of usability, in terms of visuals, in terms of like the way the code works. Everything is just improving at a rate that is unbelievable. Like if you've been around since the early days, I mean, I haven't even been around since the early days, right? Like I started using Godot probably in like 2020, and I dabbled in 2018, but I really started using it in 2020. And even then, like it was still kind of like this dinky, you know, open source engine that some people knew about. And like, but if you went to like, you know, into the world, like outside of like, even every gamer knew about, you know, Unity and Unreal. They knew about those engines, but they didn't know about Godot. But now everyone knows about it, and it's like, it's become mainstream. And I think that's like leading to a lot of interest and a lot of people like more contributors, and just like greater improvements at like such a fast rate that it's becoming just such an amazing engine. And it is really, it's really like I'm really happy to see this, you know, from where it's come. And I wasn't even there like in the early days. Like I wasn't there in 2014 or 2015 or whatever, when it was like first floating around, like in the Godot 2 days. I got on board at Godot 3 point something. It was early Godot 3, but like even then people were like, it's so amazing. It's, yeah, I don't know. Makes me very happy. Okay, so we got Malcolm. Shout out Malcolm, highly requested feature for monospace code names. You'd be surprised how much the readability of UI improves when code like data methods, signals, and properties represented in font for their context. Yes, I agree. This looks really good. Happy. It's going to make it a lot easier to read. And then same with this. We've got it for like all the different bits and pieces. You're going to know what it is, rather than object ID. Yeah, that's definitely welcome, because you used to have to click them and check the path, and it was super annoying. So that is amazing. Okay, asset store, obviously, we've talked about this. We're going to have an asset store, which is huge. Didn't stop there. Mesh library received... Oh, mesh library, okay. Quality of life updates, yeah. Entirely new bottom editor. Okay. Is like the grid... the grid 3D is going to be like finally viable? Maybe? Probably not. For a long time, Godot's been lacking one way to easily place objects in 2D scenes. Okay. Okay. Wait, what the heck? Scene paint tool? Hold up. So, oh wow, okay. You can quickly paint and erase scene instances with supporting from grid snapping. Is this an add-on? What the hell? I'm confused because I saw this. Asset isolation, immediate access. Bringing asset store, update visuals and API. I got confused here. Immediate access to the current description. Didn't stop there, as Mesh Library received similar quality of life updates from the entirely new bottom editor. Okay, this is just in the editor now. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. Go off. Scene paint tool, okay. I'm looking forward to using this. Okay, brings Behemoth section to a close with final 2 quality of life goodies. The first is simple but obvious improvement to how arrays are displayed in the inspector. Okay. Yeah, this looks better. 100%. The second is an improvement in how the export templates are received in the editor. Ooh, we got bars now. Nice. Okay, we got GD extension. Now viewed in the editor directly, thanks to Aaron Frank. Okay. I don't use much of GD extension, so GD script tackled a long time annoyance for now exported for non-exported enums reverting to instant integers during remote play sessions. Oh, thank God, yeah. Yeah, you used to have to like check the number and then go back and look at the script. It's fully retained for declared variables regardless of their export status. That's awesome. One of the most long-awaited features for Godot's GUI system was able to translate rotate on a scale on a control node. Okay, without affecting the rest of the container. Okay, previously Godot's various container nodes applied position, rotation, and scale to their children, which meant losing any changes made to the children's transform when the container is sorted again. Yes, which occurs. New transform offset properties implemented aim to address this limitation in a self-contained manner, similar to the transform property in CSS. Okay. Offset transform. Interesting. So it's there, but it's like different. You can choose whether the transform offset's affected by mouse by default, or if the transform offset is purely visual, which means there is no risk of buttons losing their hover status after being transformed. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Another long-standing usability quirk with pop-ups with a dozen options to choose from, lacking any proper filtering. Rudimentary incremental searches that lacked visual feedback. Okay. So now you get this, that you can search. Making searching through massive lists discoverable consequentially, improving usability. Yes. Okay, what else have we got? In order to improve visually. Okay, yeah. Because this is kind of like an issue. Tree drag and drop functionality. Now when performing a drag and drop operation, there will be always present vertical indicator showing the potential parent chain. Yes, because sometimes you would do this and it would become like, it would end up in the wrong spot, basically. Okay, indented space, left most empty space, whereas the item is largely retained its current behavior. Oh yeah, I mean, this is great. Yeah, because this was always a little bit annoying. Shout out Malcolm. Malcolm's done so much. Okay, close out this section, enabling rich text images along with width and height to specify EM for their scaling. This will result in the following text. Gaussian splats work in Godot effectively if you have all the parts for the environment. New machine learning world models. Hell yeah. Gaussian splats are becoming a really big deal, right? Like that's going to be the next big thing in fidelity for gaming, right? Add more and more, custom minimum size, yada, yada, yada. Input. Okay, so this is the joystick. This is a big deal. No one's going to come and be like, I don't know how to make a joystick. One of the earliest additions to 4.7 development cycle came from Kazok61. Yeah, in delivering a built-in solution for handling touchscreen joystick inputs with the virtual joystick. The joystick doesn't move. And then joystick dynamic, where based on where you touch. Initial touch position, as long as it was within it. The joystick is moved to the initial touch position as long as it's moved within the joystick bounds. it moves back to the original position when released, which I think is really cool. Right? Joystick following. Okay, the joystick is moved to the initial touch position as long as it's within the joystick bounds and follows the touch input if it goes outside the joystick. Okay. I'm not much of like a touchscreen kind of guy. Even when, like I've said in the past, like I use Android for most of my gaming. I don't use a touchscreen with it. Because like, I think that's like a young person thing, right? Like I hate using a touchscreen because like I get no tactile feedback. And it's not even like you don't know what you're touching. It also doesn't feel right in my head. But I think it's like an age thing because I didn't grow up with it. Can't stand it. Ooh, physics. One-way collision, old behavior. Okay, so I can't read this. Tsunami. Tsunami gives. I can't even read, guys. What the hell? Okay, so in the physics section, we've got Tsunami gives 2D love with adding. Dude, I cannot read today. With adding one-way collision direction for collision shape 2D. While they've always technically supported one-way collision, they've been hard-coded to up. Yeah, now it's been resolved to all directions, ensuring that more complex logic like rotating platforms are properly accounted for. Okay, so I'm guessing it's very interesting. So that's the old behavior. I have an old arcade machine at the themed burger bar, and the kids tap their fingers on the top to point controls. They try their fingers again. Yeah, they don't even understand the concept of a button, right? They just think they can touch the screen because it's what they've grown up with. Whereas like my brain doesn't go to that. I'm constantly questioning, like, can I touch the screen? Like if I come to I think one of the things I notice a lot is like some devices in the world, like specifically to do with money. So like FPOS machines and like ATM machines, like a lot of that kind of stuff. It's both. Like you can touch the screen, but there's also tactile buttons. And it always confuses me because like I'll be there, like obviously because I work in finance, like you see some of these stuff and you're like, oh, can I touch the screen or do I touch the button? And you have to sort of like check. And you're like, I don't want to look like an idiot and touch the screen. But like these kids, they don't care. They just touch the screen. Okay, we're looking at physics now. This one-way collision stuff looks really cool. So yeah, the old behavior used to be, if it's rotating, it just doesn't work. I'm guessing now we've got a direction. Yeah, see that? And now you can push through, I'm assuming, or just never. I don't understand. I guess it's working a lot better. Like you can see, like you don't want the clipping here. But I assume that's kind of what you wanted. I don't know. I'll trust people who know that this is better. Platforms, Android. Android is getting a lot of love. Okay, thanks to the work of Fredia, Godot now has the ability to run a project and move it to a small window pinned to one of the screen corners. Oh, that's awesome. This relies on Android's native support for picture-in-picture display. For example, YouTube or Android users now on this functionality to show currently played video in the corner of the screen. In the old days, sliding along walls was a hard issue. They're saving you some pain. Okay, awesome. Applications cannot be interacted with during the picture-in-picture mode. So this is useful for applications and games that have sections that don't require real-time input. So idle games are like, that's actually sick. You can make like a casual idle clicker or whatever for like just be used in the corner of your tablet or whatever. Very cool. Anish brought the ability to switch to portrait mode while in the script editor on Android devices. This makes it easier to view code while you're typing on a virtual keyboard. Note that distraction-free mode must be enabled for this to be possible. It can be toggled. I mean, I really like Android, but I'm very much like get a keyboard and a screen. If you're going to do this, it's not that much. Go buy your cheapest Bluetooth keyboard. Go buy like a cheap screen from Facebook Marketplace and plug it in. Like, this is a nightmare. Why would you do this? I mean, I guess some people just enjoy it. Like, they really just want to be like making their game on the bus. This makes it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anish continues with bringing support to resizing and repositioning embedded game windows. Okay, that's sick. Last time I tried out Godot, it wasn't able to do this. But it also depends on the version of Godot that you have, a version of Android that you have. Nice. Add support for plugins for greater platforms, allow implementing Java interfaces from GD script, native file picker support, and add export options to customize splash screens. Oh my God. Windows, we're about to get into the weeds of HDR. We have HDR now. Let's just leave it at that. HDR support. This is a big deal. Like, that just takes you to the Wikipedia page. I thought that was going to be like, I don't know if I have any HDR screens. This is not something that highlighted in a single development snapshot. Rather of every 4.7 blog post to date, but one of the showcased incremental supports for HDR Windows by Josh Jones, Apple support. Do they have like high dynamic range? Like, how are they showing this? SDR, HDR? Like, you need a HDR device to actually show this. A best viewed on HDR compatible device. I don't have that. Usually the build goes up. I have a test project with no media exporting to the web. With no media exporting to the web around 11.6 and 4.6, and it went down to 10.9 in a later version. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I don't have an HDR screen, so I can't really see the difference between these two. I just assume that it's better. One day one day when HDR is just in the cheapest monitor you can buy, I'll have it. Drawable texture is actually so sick. The amount of things that we're going to be able to do with this off rip is actually going to be so cool. So like, I'm already thinking like, you could do like walk, like paths where your character walks and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, the fact that you can do, also like, we've got Material Maker, right? So Material Maker is an app made in Godot. What about Material Painter? Right? Someone get on that. That's all I see. This feature is very reusable. Yeah, it's actually huge. Like, this is going to have a lot of different applications. It's going to allow for a lot of different things to be made. I am like genuinely like, okay, we got Material Maker. Let's get Material Painter. Please. But yeah, this is huge. With new class users, a simple API to abstract away all the technical noise and give users of all skill levels a convenient way to draw on a texture directly. Very cool. And Bastion made the demo project. Shout out Bastion. Hugo Locurio has been refining over the course of nearly 3 years to bring one of the most anticipated integrations for our rendering systems, nearest neighbor scaling for 3D viewports. Wait, hold up. This will ensure 3D titles with pixel art aesthetic or low resolution scaling will still look crisp without any compromised performance. Huge, actually. I mean, Godot is one of those engines where it's like really popular to use it to create PSX Lite kind of games. So this is a big deal, right? No more blurry edges. Emil delivered rectangular area light sources by leveraging the new Area Light 3D. Hold up. That's awesome. It's now possible to render real-time light from a rectangle of 3D space. Dude, that looks so good. Amazing. As soon as you give any new game and community the ability to draw, you have to wait for someone to draw human anatomy rhyming with tricks. That's all right. Let them have it. Let them have it. Ribnewski. Yuri rounds off with a shader highlight. With shader highlights, with this work bringing inline previews to C++. This is a C++ implementation. I don't know what this means. An improvement, you'll have to show me. Godot shader preview, a popular add-on written in GDScript. Much like the add-on before it, this aims to reduce the amount of guesswork when consulting text shaders. Okay. I'll trust you. Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, cool. I mean, yeah. It's Godot 4.7. It's leaps and bounds again. Every version update feels like a new whole update to me. Like we just went from Godot 4.6 to 4.7, but it feels like we went to 4 to 5. Like there's so many new improvements every single version, and it just makes me so excited, you know, to see what this engine is going to become, you know, in Godot 5, in Godot 6, you know, in 5 years, like where we're going to be is just so crazy, in my opinion. That last project lets you use text inside the shader through bitmaps of font letters. Okay. Scroll all the way back down. Line intensity. Okay. I just knocked down my light. Cool. Classic. Okay. Also, so that's 4.7. It's pretty good. Debugging shaders is hard. I agree. I tend to avoid them if I can. Yeah, no, 4.7. It's looking really good. You can roll out render doc, but Godot does it for us. Yeah. Good old Godot. Okay, what's next on my docket of things to... I wanted to cover some content, you know? And I noticed this. So I was scrolling the web last night and I came across this. The Game Dev Manifesto. What is this called? Run Manifesto. No one is going... Sorry, that was a bit too loud. No one is going to buy your video game. A manifesto for making games. This is crazy, bro. Okay, so I don't know who made this. It was just floating around on r/gamedev, and I just thought it was really funny. Also, it's a flashbang, so sorry about that. But it's just like the harsh reality of making games. Like if you've already sold a video game for money, congratulations. This manifesto is not for you. Please stop reading. If you have sold many video games for a large amount of money, first of all, you should have stopped reading on the previous line. However, you might also like to support some game developers on itch today. If you're hoping to sell video games one day in the future, welcome. Unfortunately, this is never going to happen because no one is going to buy your video game. This manifesto will help you understand this and why it is good. Okay. If you've never made a video game and don't plan to, and therefore aren't sure about the logical value of the statement at the top of this manifesto, good news, you're going to make a video game today. Okay. The dream of selling games is killing the dream of making games. Yes. Agree. We must stop making games we think people will buy. I mean, this is debatable. We must stop treating everything we make as a potential product. Yeah, probably for the best. Most advice about making games is actually about selling games. There's a lot of that, yeah. You do not need to fear the player, the customer, or the reviewer. You must make your game even though no one is going to buy it. I think that is the hard truth. You should make your game today after reading this. There are not enough games, and we must continuously work to keep all of this alive. And I think this is kind of like, it's a little bit gatekeepery. Is there more? Oh, there's way more. Okay, there's a lot here. Dude, you can stop reading here. This is the manifesto. If you want to read 2,000 words of pointless expansion on this, please continue. There are some FAQs at the end. They're mainly jokes. So, like, on the basis of, because I'm not going to read the rest of this. On the basis of this statement, the dream of selling games is killing the dream of making games, I think is like hard truth. There's a growing amount of people, and this is just like something that you see as a product of the internet today. There are people who, I guess you would call them influencers, who definitely sell the idea of like selling games rather than just making games. Like you've got your Thomas Brushes of the world, and those types of influencers that are like more selling you the idea of making money from making games. Obviously, like a lot of people on the internet, including myself, we all sell something, but there's a difference between selling the idea, like I think his thing is like you can become a 6-figure game dev versus like I'm gonna show you how to make something, and it's got nothing to do with making money. It's just like learn how to make something. So like I think that is like a key difference between a lot of this, and this goes back to that point, is most of our advice about making games is about selling games. I watch a lot of this. So I watch a lot of these guys that are talking about like running game dev as a business. And I think it is helpful depending on where you're at in your game dev journey. So if you're like someone who is making games, can make games, you're past that point, you're out of tutorial hell. And if you just want to make games for fun, I think this is what this whole thing is getting at. You should just be making games for the love of making games. And I think the thing that it's missing is that a lot of people who make games for the goal of making money still make games because they love making games. They just want to be able to do that as a job, right? But yes, I do agree that like this, you know, like treating everything as a potential product does sort of kill a little bit of like the whimsy or the artistry and all that kind of stuff, because you get people chasing trends like, oh, incremental games are like what you need to make. So everyone's making incremental games, and all these guys that are like just chasing a buck, going off and making incremental games and like chasing that like trend, right? Rather than making something that they truly care about. So yeah, I think ultimately, yes, you know, these top 3 points are like good advice. You know, stop making games that people will buy. Make something you want to make, because I believe that if you put your effort into something that you enjoy and you believe in, then it's more likely to be successful than something that you're just trying to make for fun, like just to make money, right? So, you know, I mean, then that's going to be different for different people. Some people can do both, but not everyone can. And I think a lot of people just pushing out slop, right? That's where that word comes from. Like everyone's just making slop to try and make a buck. You do not need to fear the player, the customer, or the reviewer. Just make something you like. You must not make your game. You must make your game even though no one is going to buy it. Agree? Because you shouldn't be in this for the money. Because you're not going to make any. You should make a game today after reading this. There are not enough games. I don't know. There are a lot of games. There's not enough like good games, maybe? I don't know. And we must continuously work to keep all of this alive. I'm kind of curious about point number 8. Like, what's their expansion on this? There are not enough games. There are not enough bad games. There are not enough messy, shitty, broken, half-made games. Yeah, okay. A common point made by journalists and YouTube essayists and game developers and people on the blue sky is that there are too many games. Did you know that there were 21,000 games released on Steam in 2025, but in 2015 there were only 2,800? This is an example of point 4 in this manifesto. Every solution suggested for this problem is some kind of gross zero-sum bargaining or jockeying in favor of a particular group, style, region, or philosophy. The reason this happens is that this affects games which people are going to buy. Fortunately for you, no one is going to buy your video game, which means that this has absolutely no relevance to you. The number of games on Steam does not matter. How many guitar performances were done in London last year? Is it up or is it down a decade ago? Should that influence my decision to learn the bass guitar over the piano? We need more games because it is good for each and every one of us to make things, to have things made for us, and to see other people enjoy making things. Number 6, we should have a look at that. We need more games because of the field industry practice of making games is still able to operate normally, which means we have not completely overwhelmed it with creativity yet. Do you want to make a game or do you want to sell a game? Yeah, exactly. We need more games because despite there being 1.4 million games on itch at the time of writing this, the biggest games released this year will be remakes, sequels, small variations of things popular 5 to 10 or 20 years ago, we must make a mockery of this. We need more games because we need more games because you have not made your most important game yet. Agree. And to more to this point, like I was looking, I mean, we had was it the Summer Games Fest? There was a bunch of announcements, Nintendo Direct. Like we have got Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake 2. It's the second time it's being remade. We've got Fable coming out, all these games, and it's kind of crazy to me because I'm starting to think, it's kind of weird because like retro gaming, there's sometimes a justification for a remake, right? If the game design was like kind of bad and you think you can remake it or like redo it in a way that like makes it playable in the modern context. But like, here's the thing. I recently played Ocarina of Time and it's fine. It's a great game and it still works. The game I'm playing right now is literally having a remake next year, right? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't think Ocarina of Time needs a remake. Nintendo, all they need to do is go, Vinwan Shinobi, hi me again. Welcome. We have a radar with a view account. Okay, shout out. Sorry, I missed that. I'm in rant mode. Let's go to this. Shout out. Vinwan Shinobi. What are we ranting about? We are, hang on a second. Okay, so, remakes. Ocarina of Time. Okay, so the Ocarina of Time remake, everyone was super excited about it, but it's strange to me because, like, why would you even need to remake that? All they need to do is go and get the recompilation that's out there for PC. So if you don't know, you can just, if you have a copy of Zelda Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64, you can dump that game onto a PC and you can play it with a recompilation. So it can run at 60 FPS. You can use the mouse to aim with it, or if you have a gamepad, you can use like traditional gamepad controls rather than the old school camera controls. And the game works amazingly. 60 frames per second. There's nothing wrong with the original product. Maybe you could offer like upscaled textures, maybe, like, but other than that, like, it's kind of like, it's fine as it is. Like, the game is not, from a design perspective, it's not bad. It's at that point. And I feel that way when you get to games sort of like late 90s and onwards. The game design has sort of been fixed. It's not like the old NES days where like the game is bad, not because it's like a bad game, but because like the way that they just ran the hitboxes and like, you know, all of that stuff in like the SNES and NES era were like a little bit like kind of janky. But like in the late 90s, sort of like PlayStation era and beyond, they sort of solved all those problems, and like those games are still good. You can go back and you can play a lot of PlayStation and Nintendo 64 games, Game Boy games, and they're fine. I played, what was I playing? Xenosaga, right? Came out in 19 something. It's great. It's a great game. You don't need to remake that. It doesn't need to be remade. You just need to make it available on devices, right? So like, why do, you know, like if you think you can do something new with it, remaster maybe, but like these games are good. They don't need to be remade. Make something else. Why would you spend like millions of dollars on that when you can just like release it with a 60 FPS patch and you would make the same, you would make way more money if Nintendo just put Ocarina of Time like HD rather than like, rather than an emulated version of it. Like it's just like recompiled for the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2 or whatever. Like you don't need to do it with like $1 billion or however much it cost. Point 6. You must make games even though no one is going to buy it. I hard agree. Perhaps you hoped that someone was going to buy your video game and now you've realized that no one is going to buy your video game. You are unsure whether you should make it. In fact, it is imperative that you make your video game. If you are unsure how to do this, we will address this shortly. If we stop making things, people will not buy them. Very true. Then only commercial products will remain. Very, very true. We don't want AAA to just simply exist and us be consumers. That's actually bad. If people who have not made video games only see people buying video games, they will think two things. First, that people will buy their video games. This is false because no one is going to buy their video games. Second, they will think that video games exist to be bought. It is your duty to the next generation to show that their commercial video games are an anomaly. A systemic flaw, a rounding error. They are drowned out by a vast, unspeakable, dense landscape of shitty, flawed, imperfect video games that no one is ever going to buy. Here is how you make a video game. Install a game making tool of some kind or find one on the web. Tiny Tools is a nice directory of friendly game making software. However, this is a manifesto, not friendly or nice. However, this manifesto is not friendly or nice, and it is recommended you do this in Unity. Blasphemy. Okay, just turn it off. It's over. How could they say that? New project, new game. Change exactly one thing about the project. Save and export the game. Upload it to itch. Congratulations, you have made a video game. Yeah, no, I think this is really fun. Okay. Oh, so you think artists should work for free? Everyone is an artist and we all should be given the resources to live. Oh, someone is very based. And support one another in an ongoing sustainable collective existence. You lost me at Unity. Yeah, I agree. It's like, oh, Unity. Brother. Like, for someone who is like very clearly anti-capitalist, you're gonna go and get, I'd prefer sequels to 7 remakes on each system. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, make a sequel. Gonna go get dinner. Enjoy your dinner, man. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so someone who doesn't like capitalism, clearly, to suggest to use Unity and not Godot is actually insane. Like, that is beyond, like, what are you doing, bro? Under capitalism, I would like every artist to be able to sell their work at a high enough rate to live and as they wish forever. Unfortunately, no one is going to buy your video game, which makes this outcome impossible. So, rip bozo. Okay. I make games and sell them. Are you saying I'm bad or less of an artist or something? I sold a copy of my video game. What do I do? The most important thing... Okay, remain calm. I sold a copy of my video game. What do I do? Remain calm. The most important thing right now is to not panic. There are a few immediate solutions you can try. First, you can use the money to buy a copy of someone else's video game, especially a game that no one is going to buy. This transfers the problem to someone else. If this does not work, an alternative solution is to spend the money on something extremely stupid or something that will enable you to make worse games. For example, buying yourself bubble tea and walking to the park. And walking in the park, it will give you less time to work on your game, making your next game potentially even less likely to be bought. If you find yourself unable to stop selling video copies of your game, please do not worry. This simply means the manifesto has stopped applying to you. I recommend watching videos from GDC about player retention and team management. Okay. I do agree. I think people should be in this... People should create for the sake of creating. They shouldn't create because they think they're going to make money. If you make money, that's just an added bonus, you know? I also don't beget anyone that comes at it from I want to do this as a job, so therefore I need to think about it in a business-like way, because even I've started doing that in the last few years, thinking about how I can actually progressed from being just someone that does this for fun, but it's still coming from a place of I'm doing this for fun. I'm just doing it in a different kind of way that's like gonna hopefully net something else. But it's not the end goal, right? Like if I don't make any money, if everything ends, you know, if the viewer count, if I get banned from YouTube for whatever reason, you know, I'm still going to be out here doing this. That manifesto was funny, but yeah, nah. Yeah, I know, because you actually do this for money. And I think that's okay. Like, I think it's a good message for a lot of people. It doesn't, as he said, this doesn't apply to you. This manifesto is not for you. This is for new people in the creator space. It is, I never really thought too much about making my games for profit. Yeah, I think that's the right attitude to start with. At the very least, you should start from that point, and if it progresses to something else, then that's fine. Because at the end of the day, we live in society, guys. I don't know if you realize that. Like, we live in a society, and you need to, like, have a career. And if that happens to be making games, that's okay too. Jesus, what's the time? Oh, it's only 9 o'clock. My clock says 10:59 p.m. Let's fix that. Okay. So, okay, so we got the, let's just knock this out before we jump off stream. We got this 2D guy. We wanted to fix him a little bit. So we have the dead crawler. Basically, where is this? Actually, we already have, well, no, because the dead crawler is, well, actually, no, we can do this. So we can crawl a broken and then put the dead crawler in this and then make this a death effect. What is it called? Broken? Broken body death effect. Create. And change the script on this. What does this do? On timer player sparks. That's fine. Make it extend broken enemy debris. Excuse me. Animation player already exists. Okay. Second animation player. Okay. So that should mostly solve those problems there. And then we spawn this instead, right? And then the drone part is just that rigid body there. And that will get like a little bit of a launch, but, so, what's the function for enemy debris? So we have a physics process, we have a random time. Oh, do we have anything in the ready? We do, timer start, randf. So for this, I mean, no, that's, yeah, okay, so we do have a time. Basically what I wanted to do was, here we go, funk, ready, And then what we want to do is go second animation player. Let's open this up. So we have sparks. Right, this is when it dies. So second animation player dot play sparks. And then we'll return super dot underscore ready. Okay. But once this finishes, we will set the timer to start. So basically we can animate that actually. We probably don't need to. So rather than have this auto start, is that not a function? Okay, let's just see. Call method, track, timer, and once this ends, insert key, start. Okay. It's gonna lose this. Probably. It's probably okay. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with that. Interestingly. Or I haven't noticed it. Okay, so yeah, well, I mean, go to the crawler. Add the death effect called what? Crawler broken? Drop it in there. What is this cranky for? Has it got transform on it? Jesus. I pressed the wrong button. I'm trying to get a habit of doing that because it's just like, it's so slow and I can press that instead. There's probably a hotkey for that too. Control Shift F11. So for this, rather than all this stuff that we're doing here, we just say animation player play death. We don't even do that. Right, we've got hitbox set active, defeated emit dot self mission. So we've got I think like a spawn dead crawler. We should not have like a death effect with this. Defeated dot emit, mission objective of met, play death effect. Okay, so we just get rid of that. Set active. Defeated emit self. Play death effect. Okay, well let's see. It should just work. Find out. I'm guessing that all the other enemies like queue free after that. Call deferred, direction, play death effect. If not death effect, return. Instantiate. Wait, what the heck? So what happens with the air enemy? Sprite direction, velocity change. On body entered. Search for target, on timer, timeout, play death effect, set target, health container damage, health 0, Q free. Okay, so we've just overridden that. So, the crawler. And now it should be good. It still behaved kind of strangely. Oh no. Yeah, okay, so that's a lot better. Just like instantly. It doesn't, I would say like we probably need to, I mean, it's not bad. Cannot play on a null value. Ah, interesting. Yeah, that is because there is no animation player because of the way I did that. Which is okay, because I just changed that to extend enemy debris. So that just means I need to set the animation player here to that, and then also give it, because that's expecting fade out. New animation, fade out. And just make it like 0.1. And we're essentially just going to do visibility. We're just going really basic with the modulate, and then it keys free after that. Create a reset track, yep. And then, yeah, key that. And then we go and add a method. Click this and then add key. Okay, third time's a charm. Just watch it. That one still just disappears. I gotta fix that too. Is it ever gonna just disappear? I can't remember what kind of time I put on that. Oh yeah, it just goes. Okay, cool. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay, let's have a look at that enemy in this scene. Doesn't break into pieces for some reason. I'm assuming because they've been made unique or something. Like that one for sure is the correct one. Yeah, so actually what gives? Like, why is this one specifically not doing that? Like, they all go to the same spot. Is there something in this room that is like making it so that they, even though it doesn't, okay, so here's the thing. We can, maybe it's like a visual thing. Let's go and we look at remote for this. And in the level, I guess, somewhere, it'll spawn somewhere around here. Hello, David. Is it just like at the bottom of this? Where is it? Crawler broken. Okay, so that one there is showing up. Okay, so they are there. Defeated drone does exist. It's just not visually here. And I would say that's because of the background. The other scenes don't have like much of a background. So maybe if we made, yeah, there's that index -1 on that. And there it is. Now, I would think it'd be fun to like give a bit of force to these guys to make them go all over the place. Also, like they should be behind the player, not in front of. Right? So like the player should always be in front of all this crap so that you can always see where the player is and doesn't get buried by like random broken shit on the ground. Essentially. There you go. That is really just going to be in the crawler. Ordering. Do we make it -1? Does it still show up? I'm assuming these are all -1, yeah, okay. So you just have to put them in the same layer. And probably background needs to be like -2. Probably. Yeah, see, they just disappear. Oh, well, that's because I have to like actually go to this and find the background tile and set its visibility. Ordering to -1. And now everything will show up and we'll be behind it. Yeah, I think I might make that drop into even smaller pieces, but it is a lot of effort because like at the end of the day, that's all manual. Like I have to draw the pieces. I can't really just like break it up, you know? Yeah, how much force can I give to these guys? Hey, crit. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Crit, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? Did I spell your name wrong? Did I give a shout out to the wrong person? Oh, Crit Kit. My bad. I do this all manually. I shouldn't. I apologize. You have to wait 1 minute 33. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm going to set up a bot. I apologize. Okay, YouTubers, if you can do me a favor. YouTubers, you gotta help me make up for this. Go follow. I wonder if that's against TOS. What have we been making? Okay, we don't need an ad for Toy Story. Metroidvania. Oh, me too, dude. Okay, your code looks much more intimidating than mine. I'm scared. I want to see some gameplay. Have you got a page, actually, like a Steam page or whatever? Are you coding this in like your own engine or something, bro? What the hell? I left Twitch, so I can't follow. LOL, sorry. Oh, betrayed. I'm not even looking at the chat. Trying to make a game about cutting down a tree? That sounds sick. Also, side note, if you've ever cut down a tree, it's very satisfying. It's a lot of effort, but it is very satisfying. Oh, you do have an itch. Hell yeah. I guess you don't have a Steam page up yet. I don't either. I'm also making a Metroidvania. It's just very, you know, typical spaceman, Mega Man lookalike. Oh, it's Godot. I've partnered with Steam getting a page going. Nice. We will follow Minecraft style. Oh, okay. Yeah. Does this room still crash? Okay, it doesn't. We're safe. Yeah, I'm just going the very basic route of like shooting and ability upgrades. Just because I like that stuff, you know? We've been going through the process the last couple of weeks, just replacing all the sprites from this like red basic stuff to like more thought out. I don't know if it's still going to be the final product, but it just needs to be like more, you know, like actual enemy looking thing. Except for that red blob is still just a red blob. Who doesn't love Mega Man? He's the best. So yeah, hey look, you can pick up dash. Pretty basic. Some people hate it. Oh, the soundtrack is so good. The intro to the third game, I think, is probably my favorite right now. And so now we've got the boss. And so the idea is you're meant to dash through these like obstacles that he decides to throw at you. I don't have much of a story yet. The idea is you're in a security, like the security is trying to kill you. You're not breaking in, it's just lost its mind. Mega Man thought of 3 as peak when Side comes in and it comes together. Yeah. Took a hit. Took another one, that's alright. The bullets the tank shoots kind of hard to see. Yes, they are. Yeah, both of them, like the missiles are really small. I need to go through and redo them. Like they're tiny little red dots. Essentially, very placeholdery. And if you don't defeat him fast enough, yeah, he puts a barrier up and he spawns 2 of these, but they're on the same layer. So you can't even tell that there's 2 of them. Let's just finish this guy off. Spam. Okay, something's wrong. It's not dying. Got a raid to run. Bust some ass. I'm actually pretty close to finishing myself. But I appreciate the raid, I really do. We can send the love somewhere else. If I can figure out where the hell I am on my thingo. Have I got friendos? Oh yeah? Big boy official. Hell yeah. More Godot game devs. We'll go there. And I gotta go because I got a day to start. It is 9:30 a.m. Gonna go enjoy the sun. Thank you all for hanging out. Like, subscribe, follow. Subscribe. When I say subscribe Twitch, I mean on YouTube, not on Twitch. You don't have to do that. Have a good one. But I do appreciate a follow. And I never read them out because I am just not, I never see them because I got too many things happening on my screen. All right, guys, have a good day.